You are listening to a Reverie original podcast. Please download the Reverie app to get the best in queer film, TV series, music, and podcasts. Stream out loud.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm back, motherfuckers. They're trying to kill your favorite bitch. I'm not about to go down without a motherfucking fight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Podcast of Color, the podcast where four trash bags of color come together to make sense of the world. I'm Rakeem, and I don't have the stomach flu this week, so I'm happy to be back. I felt tragic because I missed the episode last week because I was contagious and shitting every 2 seconds. I was a human enema for like 4 days. Ew. It was gross. But, you know, she's clean. Her colon is clean. She doesn't give a shit.
Who needs a fleet? Who needs a fleet when you have a stomach flu?
Honestly, like, for a quick second, I thought it was Giardia. And I was like, wow. The Renee jumped out. Yes, your impact. And like for the first day, I was like, oh my God, I feel like sick. I have this urge to listen to like Charlie XCX and Azalea Banks. Like, I hated capitalism for it. Like, I didn't understand. I was like, what is going on? Like, stupid. It was a lot. But
not the Renee flu.
I truly. So Giardia. So, so who are y'all? How are y'all?
I'm Baze and I have pink eye and the cold. So,
oh my God,
I get you a man who can do both. And that's how I'm doing this week.
Oh, child.
I feel like everyone's catching stuff from eating ass, and I'm so proud. I'm really so proud.
Well, mine wasn't from eating ass, but just so the listeners know that.
I'm John, and the only negativity I like on my life is negative STD results. So
true. I'm also HIV negative. Yay. So get tested, everyone. I got tested when I was sick I got tested for everything I got tested for everything just to be sure, because you never know.
Yeah. And I feel like it's that thing, and it's totally a fucked up thing, but it's like a thing where like queer men, like whenever they get sick, you're just like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Well, like you said, and I didn't want to say it because I didn't know if that's like problematic, but like
no one say it. Actually, no one say it.
But that's exactly what I like. Drove to Rite Aid and I got a home test, and I was like, oh my God. And it was the most stressful 20. Like in that 20 minutes, all my symptoms got worse, and I convinced myself, and I was like making plans to like tell my mom and like my family, and like,
oh my God,
it was. I need to stop, but anyway, that's a discourse for another day.
Kind of, yeah.
But anyway, what's our question of color this week?
John, you came up with the cock this week.
I did come up with the cock.
Also, I wanted to drag y'all because I was listening last week, and we are not okay with that word. Baze does not speak for the Negroes when he said that.
I said I'm okay with that. I never.
Y'all said a lot of slick shit last week, and I was like, absolutely not. That was number one. How dare you?
Well, look, it is what it is, sis. I'm a cock stan.
I renounced myself from episode 61.
John's good at giving the cock now, so give us the cock.
Wow, that was anyways.
Wow.
So the question of color this week is, if you were to compete in a pageant like RuPaul's Drag Race or Miss Universe, whatever pageant you want to compete in, what would you do for the talent portion?
I'm curious to see what Baze and Renee would do. So I think y'all should go first.
Wait, I didn't even get to think about it. Give me a second.
Oh,
I was supposed to just know. Okay,
well, yes.
I think I'm. Oh, go. No, never mind.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
There's this Filipino dance called the tinikling, and it's when there's like two people holding these really long bamboo sticks, and you try to
the bamboo benga.
Sort of, yeah. But yeah, so you dance to like a song, and the bamboo sticks, they clap together during the beats on and off, and you're basically dancing and trying not to get your foot trapped in the bamboo. And I'm pretty good at it, so I think I would do that. And plus, it's like showing our culture. So
is that like a metaphor for your aversion to commitment?
Wow. I mean, yeah. the bamboo is commitment, so I avoid it.
The floor is commitment.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would, for my talent section, I would walk up and be like, I exist, and then turn around and walk off.
Oh my god.
The greatest shade. What is the greatest shade you've ever thrown? Existing in this world.
She was here.
And that's it.
I guess mine's would be I would sit on a wine bottle.
Wait, what?
And uncork it?
Yes.
Oh so you get ass drunk?
No, well what I would do is
You get boofed.
I would sit on it, right? Envelop it.
Oh Lord.
Okay. And then pour a glass of wine for all of my friends.
Pour a glass of wine.
Wait, so you gonna sit on it? How is
You're gonna sit on the
you
bigger
sit
end
on it?
first?
Yeah. You gonna do like fart it out in a cup?
Oh my god.
All things through God are possible.
Oh, Father God. God.
Yeah,
sweetie.
so
Why did I think any of you guys would say like baton twirling, singing, or dancing? You guys are wow.
Do you realize who you were asking?
yeah. I mean, I'm only surprised yours wasn't something like that. To be
Like, when have
honest.
we ever had a normal answer to like anything?
Renee?
Exactly.
No, I'm nervous now because those are hard to top. They really are. I think maybe mine would be like
Eating ass.
an eating ass, like eating, like just lining a bunch of asses.
Yeah, you like
and
get
then just
audience
eating.
participation and just be like, "Hi, so I need this requires audience participation. We only have 3 minutes. Make it quick."
And just try to eat as many asses as possible in under a minute.
To completion.
Oh my god.
Exactly. Or I was gonna say like just watching those. I'm really good at just nonstop watching those dog compilation videos of people like hiding behind a blanket and then throwing it up and disappearing in front of the dog and then watching the dog freak out. I've been doing a lot of that. That's my talent.
So you would watch the videos?
Yeah, I would just watch them like just nonstop.
It's people watching you watch a video.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
you
my
know what?
talent.
I feel like we could all do like ASMR too. Like we can go up and just like give them all tingles. Like, you know, like we could just be like, you know, like they would
Yeah.
love that, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah,
them
like whispering,
tingles.
you know?
Oh my god, ASMR ass eating.
Okay,
You know
so
what?
nope,
Now I will
Nope.
swirl the tongue
nope,
as
nope,
deep as possible
nope.
towards the prostate.
Oh
Nope.
my god.
Wait, you're getting people's prostate with your tongue?
No, but you know, like towards you want to hit like towards it.
Yeah, I was like, girl, lessons. Like, if you hitting people's prostates with your tongue, you need to be charging. Onlyfans.com/podcast poppy.
Anyway, those were the worst, absolute worst answers. But yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you know, that's great because our aspiration in life is to be
Ass.
happy.
There's so much talent in this group. I'm so impressed.
Baze is
Thank
over
you.
it all.
Who?
Who said that? Who said that? Okay, well, we're going to move on now to Minutes Ago.
Hello. Okay, you know what? I'm too sick for this. Anyway, welcome back to Minutes of Color. I feel like we're gonna actually need to have a segment for this every week since we're talking about it so damn much. But the RuPaul Drag Race finale was last week, I believe, and one performance in particular riled some feathers.
You were not funny.
That's some feathers.
I'm reading on a site called Plant-Based News that
Plant-based
the vegans are quite upset with one Miss Asia O'Hara. O'Hara? Which one is
O'Hara.
it?
She already apologized.
Because I guess I didn't actually see it myself, but I guess she had a performance where she where she used butterflies as props, and many of them died or were dying in the process of dying during the performance. And the vegans are mad. They're very mad about this. PETA has released a statement. They said, PETA Senior Vice President Lisa Lang said, when performers use live animals as props, nobody wins. Now, Asia did apologize, and they mentioned this in the statement. Asia O'Hara has apologized for this misguided stunt, and PETA hopes that the sad spectacle will sway the show to adopt a policy that bans all live animals and stops lip syncs from being literally killer.
Literally killer.
Thoughts?
There's so much to unpack here. Like, should we talk about the performance first, or how Peter's?
I mean, yeah, go for it.
I didn't even watch it. I watched it now, but I wasn't watching it during. I was just getting like a lot of like text messages and like seeing a lot of things on Facebook, and I'm like, I had to text my friend. I was like, did Asia kill somebody? I was like,
well,
what
in
happened?
a way.
I was like, what happened? And yeah, it just like fucking set off a firestorm.
So like the lip sync first of all, I don't like the system of like lip syncing for the crown. I think it's really dumb.
What?
But I do. I liked it when they had it.
The SmackDown for the crown.
No, I liked it when the final three were up there and they did their own performances, and then Rue judged based off of that in their performance. Because at the end of the day, like, Cameron Michaels is not on the level of the other three. He was like the Calorie Kardashian of the final four. And that's no shade, but like he's really good at lip syncing.
That's very good shade, but it's accurate.
Okay, but he's like really good at lip syncing, and doing gym routines as lip syncs. So it's kind of like he's knocked out all these people of the competition from lip syncing, but not necessarily being great at drag race or drag, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, to me, that's not fair, because as long as you know how to flip and sing, then like Eureka, then you can get somewhere, right? Instead of actually being like a good drag queen. But I digress. Anyway, so Asia's going up against Cameron, who's literally like being like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Like, it's morphin time during the whole lip sync. Like, it was a lot. And Asia then pulls out this watch, or pulls off the top of this watch, and then blows it. And nothing happened. When I tell you, I said, oh no, my jaw dropped to the floor. And I was like, girl, I was like, at that point, leave the butterflies, fuck them. Just shake your titties. Like, do something. Mm-hmm. Like,
because she kept drawing attention to the fact that it wasn't happening whenever she like was doing a reveal.
At all. And then
like, she like didn't she throw them in the air like the dead ones?
Yes. That's the best part of the whole performance, is when the camera pans to the butterflies and it's like twitching. Like,
I felt so bad. No,
little death drop.
Did you get when the camera pans to freaking Monique Hart and Miss Vanjie and Patrick Starr, they're just like, their jaws are dropping, and I was like, oh no.
Oh, I just wonder. But the other thing I was wondering too is, like, even if that did work and the butterflies were magically alive, it wasn't the best thought out thing, because it's like butterflies are really thin, and like it's like throwing up a bunch of like translucent paper. No one's going to see that. Yeah. And then it's like, even if they do fly up, they're going to get killed because of the extreme lights for the stage. So it just like wasn't like well thought out. Like, I would have done, like, I don't know, but I hope she doesn't do not 1 hour of that community service. She said she was going to do community service, and it's like, girl, like,
it was an honest mistake.
Well, here's the thing too, like, with I'm not a big fan of Sasha Velour at all, but
come on,
she pulled the stunts. She like pulled out some stunts during the final lip sync, and so now everybody's trying to top that, and they know that they have to do some type of reveal. So like, Asia's thinking, like, what better stunt than using live insects and like butterflies as hope, like during my lip sync. Do you know what I'm saying?
But truly the Trump era.
Wasn't the song "Nasty" by Janet Jackson, or not "Nasty," but
If
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't really go very much with the song. But I mean, like, you know, if you're trying to, I feel like everyone's now is just gonna try to like one up Sasha, and it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
do that because it was the first ever live lip sync battle, and so like,
I mean, did
and
you guys?
I don't like Sasha, but she did put a lot of thought. I feel like into that final lip sync.
Did you guys see that meme of them all lined up? Like it was Aquaria and Eureka and Cameron, and they're all like bundled up. And the meme was like, "I wonder if there's gonna be a reveal of this thing." Like,
exactly.
like sarcastic, because like, I mean, I didn't even understand. Like Aquaria's thing was like this foil potato wrap thing. I'm like, that's not even a reveal. That's just like obviously something is under that, you know?
Right.
Okay, but Aquaria turned it out.
She did. Yeah, she did.
She went off. So listen, but yeah. So the other point to the whole Asia O'Hara butterfly thing, and I'm glad I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter make this point, is that there are a lot of gays, specifically those that are melanin deficient, that have cared a lot about butterflies and not a lot about Black lives or gay lives or trans people or like families being separated or
for sure.
or children or like, you know, like anyone.
Or just not being racist themselves.
Yeah, bingo, right? So like it's just interesting seeing how butterflies garner more sympathy than like literal people. And butterflies have lifespans of like not that long anyway, so like it's just interesting seeing where people's priorities lie. Especially under, and like we're at the point now where like everything is political and everything is politicized because our lives are being forced to be politicized. So like when you do stuff like that, like especially during Pride Month, like it's a little bit weird. And I saw someone also say on Twitter, like, if Asia O'Hara has to go volunteer at like at a shelter, then like Sasha Velour needs to volunteer at a nursery. And that made me chuckle a little bit too. So.
All right. Any last thoughts or opinions
Aquaria
on the
was
subject?
Yes, Aquaria was the correct winner. And
She was... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and Eureka can choke. That is all.
I saw her at Ladyland, and she was actually a really good performer. So, I mean, that's as much as I know about her, but she seemed good.
Did y'all also see when they asked, like, kill, fuck, marry with Eureka, and she automatically said that she'd sleep with Asia? And to me, that was just really suspect, considering that she used Kingsley as a prop, and that video she's had before, and some of that behavior she's kind of displayed towards the Vixen.
Well,
Oh, like she's fetishizing black men?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, yeah.
Just saying. Anyway.
You know, so, they say that, you know, when they do those little maps of like the most searched porn or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the South, it's highest for, ebony porn and like,
Oh, my God.
and like cuckold porn. So
Why
Just
is it called
saying.
ebony?
God about cuck. Oh my god.
just saying, just
that's right.
saying.
And I think in California it's Latino.
Yes.
California,
or Asian,
yeah.
one of those.
I think it's Asian, actually.
It might be Asian.
What? No.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you know the whites love them a submissive Asian.
That's all coming from San Francisco. Like that.
Well, LA.
Oh my god.
So, yes, in the past week, a lot of fucked up shit has gone down. You know, the Supreme Court upheld Trump's Muslim ban. Was it Anthony Kennedy, who's on the Supreme Court, is like announced his retirement.
Trash.
But you know, look, we're gonna try to keep it a little bit positive. Some good news. Michael Cohen, who is Trump's former lawyer, is flipping on him basically, and has said that he is prioritizing his wife and his children over his loyalty to Trump. Granted, it's not out of the kindness of his heart. He's federal investigators are scrutinizing him for possible, according to the Washington Post, they're scrutinizing Cohen for possible bank fraud, wire fraud, and campaign finance violations. So it looks like he just got caught up in there, and he's now flipping on Trump. But you know what? Look, we'll take it where we can get it. But the thing that has me most excited, is the win of, Democratic congressional nominee Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
a queen,
who was running.
Yes.
She's a democratic socialist. She ran on abolishing ICE, providing jobs for everyone, free college. I mean, I don't even remember everything that she was running on, but like a lot of amazing shit. And she ran against an establishment Democrat, Joseph Crowley, and it was completely unexpected because this man has run unopposed for 14 elections, and I think he's been in his position since 1999. So he was also considered what is that called? Why am I blanking on that? What is it called when you like inherit like a throne?
Inherit?
The heir to the throne?
Yeah, well, no, neither one of those are the word I'm looking for, but it's fine. He was
Secede. No.
Yes,
no.
there we go. Yes,
Yeah.
he was looked upon as a successor for
Come on,
Nancy
vocabulary.
Pelosi. For Nancy Pelosi as a Democratic leader.
Yeah.
So it's just really exciting because she's like completely about like donations, like not like corporations paying politicians or funding politicians. And she just was like complete like. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say she was on Stephen Colbert the other night, and she was saying that how she turned down donations from huge corporations trying to help her fundraise, but she turned a lot of that down, and she's saying her average voter was in the teens, like 19 and 18, and so she got the youngest people to turn out, and
that's crazy.
Average,
and she's like 28.
Yeah, and she's
28-year-old Puerto Rican from the Bronx. Yeah,
well, that makes me feel like, what am I doing?
And like the average person, not counting these corporations, was donating like $20 for her cause, and so that's how she came up with just. I think she had, what was it, like 2 weeks before she was down like 30 points or something, and then the last few weeks she just came up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
because she was literally like what's it called when they go door to door?
That's what it's called.
That's called going door to door. Campaigning?
No, not campaign. There's a word for it when they go.
Girl, I'm ignorant. I don't know
about it. Anyways, but yeah, she was doing that with her team. Like she was literally going to door, and then she even like posted the pictures of her shoes that like she had started from the beginning to the end. Like in their
excellent composition on that photo, by the way.
Yeah,
and I believe she visited one of the detention centers too. Right, during like the weekend before voting.
I did not read that part.
Sure. Yeah, and she like it's just crazy because it's like she's talking about really really radical shit. Like she's talking about private prisons, and trying to end them. Talking about like housing. It's just like it blows me away that somebody that is speaking to things that are so radical succeeded, and it's very exciting for me.
It's funny, Renee, because like I was thinking about that and like what the word radical means, and it's crazy like what's considered radical. Like radical to me is like, oh, like my water faucet doesn't work, let's blow it up. Like radical, like I have her platform in front of me, and like that thing that was on like I think Sean Hannity put it on Fox News and was like, this is her platform, like all deaf to Democrats. Like, so it says here she wants Medicare for all, housing as a human right, a federal job guarantee, gun control / assault weapons ban, criminal justice reform and no private prisons, immigration justice and abolishing ICE, solidarity with Puerto Rico, mobilizing against climate change, clean campaign finance, higher education for all, women's rights, support and she has it here, support LGBTQIA+, support seniors and curb Wall Street gambling and restore Glass-Steagall. I don't know what Glass-Steagall is, but I've heard it a lot. But like, imagine being a human being hearing that or reading that and thinking, this is terrible.
Yeah, like that's radical.
Like you are.
But that just is a testament to how far the right has pushed us to the point where just like basic human decency is considered a radical.
And also how
point.
Boring and how like in the middle Democrats usually try to be, because for them like something running on a campaign like this would be incredibly risky and they would never do it, like just a mainstream Democrat. And I think that's why this person was unseated, because, you know, the Democrats are playing incredibly safe, and they're playing to kind of be like, okay, let's get everyone in the middle. But they're like, people are getting frustrated with them because they're just like, you're focusing so much on the middle. You're not focusing on the needs of the people that actually are being affected by these issues. So,
and also,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And also, like the idea of being center right now just doesn't appeal to people, like, because that's like center almost is like establishment politics, and also it's like, why would you compromise on those things? Like right. At this, like we always look at World War II as like good versus evil when it's taught in history, and that's kind of how I look at it now. Like,
yeah, but at the time it wasn't so much.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I always look at things like, oh my God, like, do you really, and especially now, like, everything is on the internet, everything is forever, there's videos of everything, like, do you really want to be on record, like, trying to be this, like, I'm gonna compromise with Nazis? Like, it's crazy. Yeah. And I think actually Obama's kind of to blame for a lot of center stuff, because I think he was very center and could have been a bit more, or a lot more, I don't like using the word
radical.
Yeah, a lot more liberal, I don't know, in terms of, like, what... Yeah, and I don't like this whole, like, I'm cool to reach across the aisle when, like, only if the people across the aisle acknowledge my existence, right? Like, if you're saying, like, I want you to die, like, I'm not gonna reach across the aisle. Like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, you know? And
well, the Democrats, let's meet in the middle.
Like, bitch,
I'll just die a little bit.
Right, like, what's in the middle of me dying?
Just
like,
kill me in like 10 years.
Well, the saddest part, I think, to me, has just been the Democratic response to her, because a lot of the establishment has been kind of like, oh, this is an outlier. This is not something that, this is, like, who said it? I don't remember who said it, but they were like, it's fine for, you know, Queens, but, like, try those politics in the Midwest. And it's like, well, you could. And actually, it's been great because, she's been promoting politicians, young politicians with no experience all over the country who share similar politics to her, who are socialists and who have, you know, as little chance as she initially did. And it's been great that she's been giving them a platform. And like one such woman I will shout out really quick is oh, there we go. Yes. Julia Salazar. And she's running for state senate in Brooklyn. And so she's 27 and she holds a lot of the same politics as Alexandria. And she's vows to fight for a democratic socialist society. So it's like great that like this win has now shed light on all these other politicians who before this were not really getting a lot of attention. And I think I feel like she's also like moved the conversation left, which is what we need more of. Right. She, a lot of Senator Gillibrand and I know Elizabeth Warren have both now come out to say that they think that we should abolish ICE, which nobody was having that conversation before Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez came out. So, it's really great. I just also liked her, like she like shot back at Nancy Pelosi. She was like, sis, like you think that's what this is, but no, like a change is coming and people are tired. People are tired of the establishment Democrats, and you can't really rely anymore on not being Republicans, because I feel like for so long Democrats have just skated by on not being Republicans, on being Republican light.
Right.
And now like somebody's coming out here and they're showing you like, hey, like this is not gonna last. The people are tired, especially after Trump.
Yeah. Like how incompetent as a organization do you have to be to literally squander like the most passionate like electorate like probably in our lifetime after the 2016 election, and y'all just messed it up. Like you could have had protests every day. You could have done so much. And Baze, you said this last episode, like, do y'all know who your base is? It's like
they don't.
Like, hello. And I'm tired of talk about like the Midwest being like the only America that counts. Like, hello, there are people in other parts of the country. There were also people of color in the Midwest, not just white people.
Exactly.
And y'all have to stop coddling them because they're stupid.
And I mean, and not to give white people credit, but there are a lot of white people in the Midwest who want a lot of these things.
But yeah, that's the thing. The white people in the Midwest that like all these voters are being targeted towards. That's why the Democrats are doing a terrible job, because like they like the stuff that she's saying that like is her platform. They want that, but the Republicans like always message saying like, well, you know, it's actually brown people's fault, not us that we're stealing your money. Ha ha ha. Like, and it's like. So if Democrats did a better job, then whatever.
Yeah. And it also just kind of disappointed me. Not that I really should have been disappointed. The way that like the response from like the Democratic leadership to Ocasio-Cortez's win, like the fact that like Nancy Pelosi kind of like threw it out there as like an afterthought, like, oh, you know, Crowley was, you know, the great guy and I've worked very closely with him for many years and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, like, congrats to Alexandra. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a historic moment. Huh?
I was just gonna say they're so out of touch.
They're so out of touch. And the
like,
sad part,
the only one I trust is Maxine Waters. That's the only one I trust. And the fact, and like, because she knows like these people are playing dirty. They're playing dirty. We really can't just play it safe anymore. And I honestly, like, hats off to Maxine Waters and her being like, what did she say? If you're gonna shoot me, just shoot straight, because there's nothing like a wounded animal. Like, I was just like, holy fuck.
But like how
she's not fucking
is
around.
That?
Yeah.
How depressing that she has to say that. Like, like no one is literally. Think of how mentally exhausting that has to be to cancel your events because people want to talk about civility, but then she's getting death threats. Like, people want to talk about civility, but no one is accusing the Republicans of doing that or coming to her defense. Like, it should be Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer being the first people talking about, well, no, like, you need to respect what she's saying, or at the very least.
But they're the first ones to talk about civility and us, like, you know, going high or whatever.
And I wish Michelle Obama didn't say that. I love
it. Me too. God, I really wish that quote is not going to age well at all.
At all. Like,
yeah. And apart from that, they're just like, my friend was watching like Fox News, whatever, just check out what they were saying. And like, they were saying some shit like, oh, like two wrongs don't make a right. So she shouldn't be like calling for like harm against whoever or whatever. And like, that's not what she was doing. A. B, when she comes out and then she like quotes like all the times Donald Trump actually has like tried to inflict harm on people, which was what she was not doing, and like nobody's calling him out for it. Like, and technically I feel like he was like that tweet that he did about Maxine Waters was almost kind of like drumming up support for like death threats towards her.
Yeah, definitely. And it was super racist. Not that that's anything new.
Right. So it's just like, yeah, fuck them all. Honestly, they're so boring. They're so predictable. I really, really hope that this new resurgence of like actual politics and like politics where like people are like are doing more than just like, but look at them. I'm not them at least. I'm sitting here, but at least I'm not them. Like, and like people that are actually doing shit and actually trying to dismantle the fucked up shit in the system. Like, I really hope that this takes off.
We'll see if
it actually does, but like I'm like super hopeful for it.
I think going forward the question is going to be less who are you not and who are you and what are you going to do for us? Because I think at this point it's always just been like, oh well, you know, because it's really not even exciting. It's never been exciting since I can remember. I've never even heard my mom or any of like my aunts and uncles talk about voting for Democrats as if it was like, oh my god, you guys, I can't wait to vote for a Democrat, until Obama, of course.
Obama was that,
but before that it was never like, oh my god, I have to vote for a Democrat. It was always like, well, like, you know, they're not going to do to us what the Republicans are going to do, so I guess I will. And it's just like, is that really like the base that you want that's like reluctantly supporting you?
Right, like I was dragging my feet when I went to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Oh my god, that was the worst. I literally was
gritting my teeth as I was circling the little circle by her name.
Same.
Like, I was just like, ugh.
Who ciao.
Anyway, hopefully that changes.
Yes, but you know what? Look, I'm taking this win. I'm taking that and I'm using it as fuel to keep me going, because I definitely needed something like this at this time because of all this real shit that's going on. But NTOA, we gonna move on. Tessa Thompson revealed how close she is to Janelle Monáe, and that she is also bisexual. And people kind of ran with it and decided that they were a couple.
John.
And she was like, I definitely retweeted it and was like, ooh, yes.
Right.
Nothing.
No, same. Like, because when you look at the quotes, like, it almost, I think maybe we were just so excited that we were just like, okay, that means that they're a couple. But, like, she didn't ever, it looks like she didn't ever actually confirm that.
And she talks about the fact that she, like, struggles with, because she's a very private person. Also, Janelle Monáe is a very private person. And she says she struggles with being a public figure and also maintaining, like, her privacy, but also, questioning herself and what responsibility she has to be visible for other people. And I'm like, that sucks, because, that's something that, like, only marginalized people really have to deal with. But
right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's, like, a constant thing. Like, like, I thought about that with when Lupita Nyong'o starred in Star Wars. I was, like, super excited when I heard that she was going to be in it. And then when I watched the movie, after the movie was over, I was like, where the fuck was Lupita Nyong'o? Right. And I went on IMDb, I was like, what? And I was like, who? And I read what her reasoning was behind that. She had decided that she had done 12 Years a Slave, and she had felt like her body was so much a part of the story and the visuals that she wanted to be in something where she didn't have to be so physical. Her body wasn't the focal point.
Interesting.
So, but I remember being like, damn, like, how awesome would that have been to have a badass, dark-skinned black woman as a Jedi?
Yeah.
But also, like, on the same side of that, like, she's still a human being, and she shouldn't have to represent this thing that I wanted just because, I wanted it. Like, so, like, I think that's the struggle. I think that is definitely probably a huge struggle for most people of color and queer people in the entertainment industry. But she just basically said, I mean, she didn't really say they're not in a relationship. She just said, I never said we were in a relationship.
Yeah.
And
she
also,
said you can speculate.
Yeah. And she was like, and also, like, my point was that, I'm bisexual, and that, I just wanted to talk about the fact that this is who I am, and I just wanted to give some visibility to that. But she never said that they weren't in a relationship. She was just like, y'all are, like, focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah, real.
I think it's kind of like, girl, we been new, but, like, they just won't ever confirm it. Like,
which I'm fine with. That's their business.
Yeah, I mean, it's their business, which to me is, like, fine. Like, they don't have to confirm or deny anything for us, So, like, it is what it is. In my head, they're together. So, the moment that Tessa Thompson appeared as Janelle Monáe's clitoris, I was like, yeah, they're a thing. So, that's all the confirmation I needed.
Wait, did I tell y'all I went to high school with Tessa Thompson?
Yes.
What?
I saw her play Snoopy in a play. I was really excited.
Wow.
Did she do a good job?
She was amazing. You know what's so funny is, well, she was always a great actress because she was in all the plays, in all the school plays. But she also always, like, after the play or whatever, came off as, like, really shy and, like, really, like, kind of guarded.
But I feel like,
and not in a bad way,
common.
but just kind of like, right.
That's common for, like, a lot of entertainers. Sorry.
Right. But it makes sense that, like, she's, like, this is kind of, like, her platform and maybe her passion, but the whole attention thing that comes with it is something that maybe she struggles with. It makes sense given, like, how I've seen her, like, interact with people before. So.
Moving on along. I was so mad because I think this happened, like, literally the day after we finished recording, but Lee Daniels got confronted by Damon Dash at a Diana Ross concert.
It's the funniest thing I have ever.
The funniest. And
that
just
is
in
so,
the back.
don't do that at a Diana Ross concert. That's so rude.
Renee, the video was so funny because Diana's just in the back talking about peace and love, everyone. Just like, let's all get along, blah, 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 blah. I love my children. I love Tracy. And then, like, you just see him, like, in his face, like, going off, like, I helped you with Precious. And then someone subtitled it, bless their hearts. And it's amazing. It sucks, but it's amazing.
Oh my god.
So, Lee Daniels has finally spoken up about whatever happened between him and Damon Dash. He said, it was an investment, but I looked him in the eyes and I told him that you would get your investment back. This black man gave me money when nobody would. Not Disney, not Sony, not TriStar, not Paramount, not Warner Brothers. He said he's going to pay him back. He said, I'm going to work out something for him to get it because I am in a position now to get it to him. I don't know if I would be successful if it weren't for him. So when this whole situation, when the video came out, people were talking about Monique again because they were like, well, if the nigga like fucked over Damon Dash, like, you know, maybe possibly there's a correlation here. And so he came out and he said, or in the same interview, he said, I respect her as an actor because she gave me her soul, but I gave her my soul, and for that she was given the Golden Globe and the Academy Award, which to me sounds a little bit like he's taking credit for like the work that she did, but you know,
right? Well, he's saying she needs to be grateful and shut up, which is trash.
But so the interviewer said Black Girl Magic at the time, which you gave her, which I was dying. I didn't know if that was shade or not.
Oh,
but you know, like for him to like take credit for her what she did. It's kind of weird. Like I thought that she was like saying like, oh yeah, so you gave her Black Girl Magic, okay. Right. Him and Damon, I guess, have squashed it. Damon responded to the video, posted on his Instagram. He said, "We're good, bro. Appreciate the honesty. Time to move forward. Let's forget the bubblegum shit and get money."
He ran a check.
Yeah, he tagged TMZ, Deadline, Fox News, Page 6, Vanity Fair, Vogue Magazine, World Star, Shade Room.
World Star.
Yeah, look, I don't know.
Wait, why would he tag Fox News?
Girl, I don't know. I really don't know why. Everybody needed this update, I guess.
Plant-based. He tagged plant-based news.
But yeah, so he was like, no one blackballed her. Monique blackballed herself, and for her to continue to talk about Oprah and myself and Tyler Perry is disrespectful. He said the intimacy that they experienced working together on set was like making love without sex.
Okay.
What the fuck?
And you know what? One of our writers came at me for saying this because they chemically straighten their hair, and you know what? You're the exception. Don't trust these niggas that perm their hair. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. They will stab you in the motherfucking back.
What about people that used to perm their hair?
That's okay. That's
like,
on a person-to-person basis. So that's contextual. We can't just make blanket statements about that. But this is one example of someone who used to perm their hair and is a goddamn cook. I mean, you know what it really is to me is like the lack. I don't know if his response to Damon Dash was so like respectful because it was caught on camera, or if it was because he was a man. But just the way that he talks about Damon Dash versus the way that he talks about Monique is just like weird to me. And the fact that he's like, well, she just needs to basically shut up because she didn't play the game. And it's like, what does that mean? Like, she explained that y'all were making her do all this shit on her dime. So what do you mean she didn't play the game? Like, was everybody else flying around to Cannes and all over the world for premieres on their dime?
Ooh.
Right.
So to me, it's just all very strange. And I just think, you know, the Misogyny Award jumped out. And I really just don't. And you know what it is? Like, there's just been too many things with Lee Daniels. Like, when, what's that show called? Is it called Star?
With Queen Latifah?
I think so.
Yeah. Where he, like, said that he made the main girl white because they needed that type of representation or something or other. Because it needed to be universal. Yeah, like, that's why he decided that the show needed a white lead. But he also wanted to give her some spice. So, like, I guess that's why she has curly hair or something. I don't know. Some shit like that.
The ghetto.
Yeah. The gentrification. He is like, gentrified.
You know how someone had said it's possible to Tatra Call made it possible to be a white gay without being white? I feel like that what Lee Daniels just said is like in line with that kind of behavior. That's a mess. Like, what are you talking about?
It's just, yeah. I really don't have too much else to say about it, and because he's always just giving me a weird feeling, and I don't know what it is about black men when they get money, but no matter what, gay, straight, it's just like when we get money, we just do not know how to act. We forget everything that we ever learned in our life, and you just try to make a smooth transition into whiteness, and it's not gonna work. Yeah, that's all I got on that.
A damn mess.
One Nicole Minaj.
Nicole.
Yes, Nicole. Onika. She is in some hot water right now with the internet. She jumped in the DMs of a writer who critiqued her, and she went off. She popped off. As she might say. So Wanna Thompson is the writer. So there's like conflicting stories about how this all started, but Wanna worked for a publisher, wrote a story about Nicki, and then she wrote this tweet. She said, "You know how dope it would be if Nicki put out mature content, not silly shit, just reflecting on past relationships, being a boss, hardships, etc. She's touching 40 soon. New direction is needed." So,
I mean,
so the Barbs got a hold of this tweet, and so this woman says that she's been bullied by the Barbs since she posted that tweet, and I guess it made its way up to their queen, and she got in homegirl's DMs, and she said, "Eat a dick, you hating ass hoe. Got the nerve to have a Trini flag on your page. You must not have heard the pink print or pills and potions. Bed of lies. Save me. My recent feature with Alicia Keys, Tasha Cobbs. You just say you jealous. I'm rich, famous, intelligent, pretty, and go. Oh, and go. Sorry. But wait, leave my balls. Tired of you sucking on them." She also said, "When your ugly ass was 24, you were pushing 30. I'm 34. I'm pushing 40. LOL. And what does that have to do with my music?" And then she later corrected herself because she forgot that she's 35 and not 34. So she was like, "Oh, actually 35. So, yeah, a lot of people are feeling a way about this. Someone what is this guy's name? His name is Sir Ratchetness, XTIAN Emiliano on Twitter. Okay. He's claiming that I think he works for the publication as well, and he said that the woman who wrote the story was a intern and not a paid journalist. And so she wasn't fired. She was sorry. She was fired because she violated an NDA and not because of the Nicki Minaj situation. But it kind of implies that she was fired because of the Nicki Minaj situation. And you just really would have to read the story because it's honestly like convoluted and like just there's so many people coming out of left field. But the gist of the story is that people are upset with Nicki. Some people are upset with Nicki for reacting this way. Some people feel that Nicki should have had a little bit more couth and recognized her status in the world. Some of her fans are feeling like, well, you know, you guys like when everybody else claps back, so why shouldn't she be able to clap back? Like there was a lot of comparisons to Rihanna clapping back on people, and so I don't know. What were y'all's thoughts on that?
I thought Nicki was just so. I just thought the whole thing was just so like. I'm trying to find a word that I like. It not gross. Just it was just so weird to me. I guess because like I feel like. To be honest, I feel like because Nicki has like legit, and I don't even feel like it has to be like this, but because she feels that she has legit competition right now, that she's kind of like going through some stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way that she takes it out is like not good at all. I feel like this whole album rollout has been like a mess.
Yes,
like
scrambling.
she's scrambling, like the songs are kind of whatever. She had that mess of that interview that just happened, and it's like, I feel like when you're an artist, you are absolutely able to kind of like clap back when people say things to you, but the same way that we talk about Cardi B and say that, girl, just like, you're too rich, just like let it go. Like, I feel like for someone of Nicki's stature who like talks the way she talks, that it's just so interesting to me that you're just bothered by stuff like that. Like, the only thing that I would have been bothered by in the comment is like, it was low-key ageist by saying like, you're 40, you need to do this. But like, there was truth to what she was saying, and that Nicki Minaj hasn't really grown as an artist. Like, some of the songs she released now could have been on like the Pink Print, and it would have sounded, you know what I mean? Like, there is no growth. Like, I know what a Nicki Minaj song is going to be like. It's going to have a really fast flow. Probably
it's a meme now.
Up. It's a meme. She's going to talk about these bitches is my son, like suck my titties or something. Like, it, you know, and like that's great. Like, I love Nicki for doing that. And can she rap? Absolutely. But I just feel like you're too rich and you're too famous and you have way too, like, why does like this opinion bother you? But I get that you're a person. It just comes off as so like insecure to me that you would like go off about that. So
well, I saw like some people were like, well, girl, you've been on stage with Beyonce, why are you in people's DMs? And I think for me, like, I definitely get that she is a person and that, you know, everything affects you. Like, I'm sure, like, no matter, like, if we blew up, if this podcast, like, just blew the fuck up and we had, like, millions of listeners tomorrow, if somebody says some slick shit, I still would be, like, fighting not to say some shit back to them. So, I think, like, no matter how successful you are, like, I mean,
it depends. I feel like it also depends on the person, though.
No, true. But I think, like, even like the bad always stands out. Like, the bad, no matter how much good you go through, the bad always stands out. And so, like, I get it from that standpoint, but I also like feel like it just is not a good look because, like you said, Rakeem, I do feel like this era, and I don't know what it is about this year in music, but like the music to me is just like not what I have been expecting. And I just feel like in general, I feel like a lot of artists are just not like meeting expectations. And I feel like, and this is like, but her in particular it's reminding me of Katy Perry last year. And it's making, and she's, I'm like just seeing
how clunky it is a little bit.
Just feels like she's trying to do something, but I don't even know if she knows what it is that she's trying to do. Cause
it's not really, it doesn't feel like it's fully formed yet. Like she's like, it's like she's on the machine, like she's on the machine early. With like Lucy, and like trying to wrap all these things up really quickly and just like, you know, try to make it seem like, but she's just like throwing it like onto the conveyor belt, but like she doesn't know exactly what's going on. Exactly, because it's like, it's just like everything. Like, I feel like you're right, Rakeem. I feel like she really doesn't know what to do with competition because since 2012, you know, or not even 2012, 2009, I think it was, or 2008. Yeah. You know, she's really been like the only rap girl that's like been like hot. Like, yes, there's been other girls that have kind of like come in a little bit, but like she's been the only consistent chick. And like, even though, and like, I was on her side in this, when Iggy came on the scene, like there was a lot of animosity, which I got completely because I hate Iggy, and Iggy is racist, but I think that you know, seeing this now, I think there was also something else there. And I think there was like a feeling about like this other woman in hip hop coming up. And I think she doesn't really know what to do with having anyone that's competition. And I think there's other aspects to the whole Iggy situation, but I mean, like, I just think in general, she doesn't know what she's doing. And I think that this is now showing to us. And it's kind of like, it's just kind of sad because Nicki is like, she's the upper echelon. Like, she's like number one. You know what I mean? Like, these other girls like are just not on her level. And a lot of them are not on her level rap wise either, like ability wise either. But like, it doesn't matter because to us, I'm seeing that I don't know that she really believes that she's the queen of rap. Right. Because it feels like she's trying to convince convince herself. Like, it's like she sees the fin. Like, she's like, let's say she's like on a yacht and she sees like a fin, like a shark fin coming. And even though she's like safe on the yacht, Like she's still like she's not used to seeing those, so she's just freaking out.
Yeah.
And like trying to jump on a lifeboat or something.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like someone. I was listening to this other podcast, based actually that your friend put me onto, and it's called Still Processing.
Oh yeah, I need to listen to them. I've heard great things.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. And they were talking about and I'm gonna bring it back, but they were talking about how on how when people critique Beyonce and Jay-Z for like being super capitalist, that one of the hosts was like not heavy on that critique because she's like, well, when you're black in America, like that's the one way that you can really have power over white people is money. And so to me, I feel like Nicki like you have to think about like where Nicki comes from, and like, you know, like she had to witness like her father like burning down her house and like all of this stuff, right? And I feel like it's almost kind of like this, I don't want to lose like what I have because I've worked too hard to get it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when it's threatened, it's almost, and I'm not projecting, but I'm speculating that it's almost kind of this feeling of like, I don't want to go back to that place of where I am and this person is threatening this, and it puts me in a place where I feel weird. And so I'm like lashing out.
Yeah.
And I say that not because I'm like upset with Nicki. Like I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Because to me, all the signs that she's showing is of someone who's not like secure. And like, I think all the stuff people say about Nicki and what we've been saying, I think that she knows. Like, I think deep down that she knows.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you would just ignore it, right? Like I think she knows,
right.
and I think it kind of hurts her feelings, and she's just not maybe handling it in the way that. I don't know, because I kind of look at her and I like parallel like the Vixen situation, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to tell her to not be angry, but it's also like just parallel, just like when you add all of the little things up that's like happened to her.
Yeah.
Or the way she's been behaving, it just makes me feel bad because I feel like she's just kind of losing her way, and I feel like she's almost been like rich for so long. I don't know.
Yeah.
That she's just like,
I could see that.
Well, I also feel like people have been like tearing her down.
Right.
Like, so here's the thing. I'm not a Nicki stan, like, by any means, but I do feel like people have been tearing her down just like since Jump. And I think that it's the same thing with like just hypervisibility in general. We talk about this as Black people where, you know, we're hypervisible, but that also like comes with like a lot of baggage, and like there's a lot of negatives that come along with that. And so I think that being like clearly being like the one female hip hop artist is like great in a lot of ways, but it also means like people are paying attention to you more. Like people are holding you to a much higher standard.
Right.
You know, people have been saying Nicki can't rap for a long time, but like nobody says that about like half these niggas out here. And like people are always constantly nitpicking at the things that she does in a way that they really don't do to the men. Right. And so like I can definitely get why she would be insecure. I think it's just sad to me because I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like this could be handled better, but I'm also not in her position.
Yeah. It's just like when you see your friend going through a really hard time and like the answer was really obvious to you, but like they haven't figured it out, and you're just like, okay, you have to let them kind of do it on their own. It's kind of like that. Like I want Nicki to succeed. I just want the same thing I say with Zoe Banks. I just want her to succeed too. You know, like that's all.
And I think also the thing, just really quick, the thing with the growth, and like kind of like maybe being stagnant, artistry wise or lyrically, I feel like nobody really calls Drake out on that. And I feel like
definitely, oh my god,
like
I'm going
Drake,
for that.
I love Drake as much as the next person, but he drops like the same album.
Yes,
he's been dropping the same album for like the last 6 years, I want to say.
Yes.
10 years.
Yes.
So, and people eat it the fuck up every time.
All he does is change accents. That's literally all he does.
I've never understood the hyper Drake.
And so here's the thing, like if Nicki's like really trying to, you know, keep her position, she's going to keep putting out what's been working for her. And if this is what's been working for her and this is what's like getting, you know, the listens, and like this is what's going to keep her position as like the number one queen of rap, then it's just like, then maybe that's why she's like continuing to pump this out, even though it's maybe starting to get stagnant for some people.
Yeah.
But again, yes, you're right. Like I don't see when when men are doing this, I don't see the same critiques that I do.
They're called geniuses.
Yeah, exactly. So Anyway.
Yeah. My coworker was just telling me, he's like, oh my God. He was like, I'm still, I mean, he's cool, but he was like, I'm still processing. And I'm just like, it's just, I don't want to call it a genius yet, but it's genius. And I was like, okay.
Drake's album?
Drake?
Yes. He's a stan. He's young too.
my
Like my
God.
coworker, like, yeah, my coworker has been listening to Drake since he said he was since he was 12. So he's a little bit younger.
The local Twitter jumped out, but whatever.
Yeah. But also another interesting thing that I've been hearing people talk about is that they're saying that she's been talking about female empowerment, but yet like attacked a woman for this. I don't know if that's, I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
The female
I think
empowerment stuff? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think that's a nuanced conversation that I don't think
Okay.
we have time for.
That's fair.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, so the site that I was reading this on is thegrio.com. So if you want to check that out, there's a lot of implications in this article, which we didn't really have time to get into. But like, there's like the whole that she may be paid for a publicity. I don't know, and maybe this girl went off script.
Oh.
Yeah, I told you it's very convoluted. The Men of Queer Eye. I think this will be the last. Or do you want to talk about that? Should we talk about should we talk about Florence and the Machine? Did you guys listen to the album?
No. I did not. Yeah.
But I will.
Okay.
I just really live for the fact that you have a Caucasian queen, because I have so many of them, and so I'm glad that
I only have 2. Well, 2 musical ones. I have different categories.
Well, technically, I only have 3. But still, like, I'm glad that somebody understands that musically sometimes there are good whites. TM.
Florence stays in her lane. She also, when she borrows from hip hop, she acknowledges that she borrows from hip hop. And a lot of times you don't even tell that she borrows from hip hop because she's so good at making it her own thing.
And
like
she's
when
friends
she said
with
that,
Azealia. Sorry.
Is she?
They were like holding hands at Coachella once, so I'm gonna say that.
So
I hope she used hand sanitizer.
Girl, do you know how many drugs people be on at Coachella? Like, I be thinking I'm friends with people sometimes.
Girl, she was holding her hand thinking she was with Nicki Minaj. She was so
no.
Bitch. Anyway, Florence.
I love stupid hoes so much.
Florence
it inspired me to write
amazing.
ceremonials.
Florence is amazing. When somebody asked her in an interview and they were like, what like really inspired you like when you were writing ceremonials? What were you, no, I think it was Lungs. And she was like, what were you really listening to with Lungs? And she was like, hip hop. And the interviewer was really shocked. He was like, what? Hip hop? And she was like, yeah. And I just thought that was amazing because like I would not have like listening to Lungs. I would not have like thought that. But anyway, I just love Florence. I think she's an amazing artist, and I'm really hoping that this album is a huge success. And I really like didn't even notice Drake dropped his album until like a couple days after the fact. It's unfortunate that the only song that I liked on that album that I really liked was the one that's featuring Jay-Z. And that's not why it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because he mentioned something about the hood killing X whatever, but not killing George Zimmerman, as if like, I don't know. It was just, I didn't like it. I didn't like the reference.
Ghetto.
I didn't like the reference. Don't you hate when you listen to a song and like there's just a
he's
reference?
talking about extenation or whatever?
Is that how you say his name? I don't know.
Sorry, don't you hate when you listen to a song? Sorry, what were we saying?
Yeah, when you listen to a song and then you really like it, but then there's like lyrics there that are like super problematic and you can't shut your brain off.
You know what, that one is always Roman's Revenge for me.
Eminem. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as Eminem starts rapping, I was like,
I know
see, for me, it's looking ass niggas.
Yikes. Yeah.
Where she says stuff about like men with no penises, and then she like refers to sexually assaulting people. And I was just like, girl, the song went off, and then you just have to go off literally. But yeah, we can skip the Queer Eye argument with the cake. I think that's it. What?
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to quickly comment on that and just
go for it. Go.
Jonathan Van Ness is the only white gay I trust. Only.
Well, then we got to give him a backstory. Basically, Jonathan and Anthony had a sort of debate because the Queer Eye cast was asked if they would have the guy that refused to make the wedding cake for the gay couple in Colorado, I think it was, on the show. And Jonathan was like, well, no, because he's like actively like worked with the right wing to like, spread propaganda about gay people. And the right wing has like really stood behind him in the case with the Supreme Court. And And Anthony was just like, well, you just can't judge people. I just like, I want to have him on the show and just kind of want to see what he's really about. Like, you just don't know. You're making a lot of assumptions here. And Jonathan was like, sis, it's literally in print. Like, you could just Google it. And Anthony was just like insistent that he just wanted to hear the guy out. And Karamo and the other niggas, or I think there's only one other. No, yes, there's the other niggas like kind of agreed with Anthony. And I was just like, of course.
It's unfortunate. I mean, are we surprised? Like,
No.
Once again, the femme person is the one with sense. Anthony's the one with abs that everyone wants to have sex with, and like we're bored. So
There it is.
So
Ooh, there it is. Okay, so yeah.
Just real quick, everyone watch Pose. It's amazing.
Oh, also, I last week in the Minutes of Color, I referred to the detention centers as concentration camps. And I'm calling myself out. Nobody actually called me out for this, but I should not have done that because a concentration camp is a very specific thing. I should have stuck to calling it an internment camp. So I just want to apologize to anybody that felt offended by that, and just I'm sorry. Period.
what is that?
Wow. Okay.
What?
Growth.
Let's go.
Okay.
We stand.
Yeah. So let's move on.
All right.
Brum, 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 brum.
You know I'm doing my Finnish accent, so you know what time it is. Oh, I don't know where. Whew, that wasn't French.
What is this? We do not like this. This is not.
Oh God, what? Okay, wait. Let's try this again. Okay. Yes. So we are doing as the Finnish accent, and we are here. We are here for the the Dixcast. Today, one Rakem is the one who has come up with the Dixcast today. So he will be taking it away.
Oh, wait.
I
Say away again.
I did that on purpose so that you would be taken aback.
At first, I thought you said taking it over, and I was like, that was the ugliest way to say that word. So today I was at the gym for the first time since having the stomach flu, and I hit the vape, and I was listening to a podcast, and this idea came to me. And I was listening to a show about kind of like I was listening to a podcast talk about the Beyonce and Jay-Z album, and on part of it, they were talking about how part of like what they're doing is like performing this act of marriage and like performing whatever. And then I kind of got to thinking about like in the ways that we're all kind of performative in our lives. So we're going to just kind of talk about that and what I guess
Yes, come on, new words.
Well,
We love inventions and
if you just make up your own words, you just can't be wrong.
An inventress.
Do you know where that's from? You don't, but
I
the
don't.
listeners will.
Well, then.
Because you don't see no one coming for no Dr. Zeus. Dr. Seuss. See, you can be wrong.
What is
Anyway,
that? Wait,
so
what is that?
It's
Wow.
fine. So we're gonna talk about the ways that maybe like we're performative, or people that we see that are performative, or things that are performative, and kind of talk about what that means. So I'm assuming I'm gonna go first.
Yes.
You assumed
Okay.
wrong.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh,
You
okay.
make an assumption.
Well, bitch, you had me intro it.
I'm
so-
just joking. Go ahead. Yes, you can go first.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
Wait, was the
got a
question like being performative, meaning that we're being disingenuous about something, or just performing?
Literally, whatever it means to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Baze, did you want to go first? Because I don't mind if you go first.
I think actually you going first will help me decide how I want to
Okay.
approach
Because
this.
you're setting the tone.
Okay. Well, I'm
You're
gonna
giving us
kind
a
of
cinematography.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna wing my answer. So, I kind of feel like, so I have this thing where I feel like everyone's a little bit performative, like in their lives, and especially because of social media. And I feel like social media kind of amplifies that. And I think and I feel like that's because sometimes you want to like put on this idea of like wanting to be successful or like wanting to not seem like failures to people. And so because of that, sometimes people kind of like front for certain things or do certain things or whatever. So like for me, almost it's interesting because I feel like I'm going to talk about Instagram because that's kind of where I feel like it applies for me personally the most, where I feel like my Instagram, it is my work. But even when actually, I'm not even going to talk about Instagram. I'm going to talk about my photography stuff. Even when I'm doing that, and like taking these pictures and like taking photographs of myself, like in, you know, like Lockwood underwear that say like stay queer and stuff. And, you know, all these like provocative poses and things. In a way, it's kind of like a performance because I'm not, I mean, I am kind of like that in real life, but like I'm super shy in real life to a degree. If I don't know you, like, I feel weird at clubs. Like I'm not the person that like is the center of attention in club spaces like whatsoever. Bays can tell you this a lot. Like, and I don't like to be, I don't know. I like to be at home. Like I like to like be in the bed and whatever. So for me, like when I'm being this person, it's almost kind of like making a character almost in a way. And like a lot of people are like, oh, like you're so confident and blah, 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 blah. And like, how do you do it? And it's almost kind of like, I'm at the point now where I'm able to like not separate the two. But before I used to say that like when I was in photographs, I would like say that's Keem and then I'm like Rakim. And there's like two different kind of people because I wasn't comfortable.
So Beyonce and Sasha Fierce.
Well, that's kind of like partially like where it came. That's partially like where it came from, though. Honestly, like and that kind of being like, well, this is a way for me to separate myself so that like I can be this like sexy person or whatever that I'm not really in everyday life. You know, and like when I'm taking photographs or whatever, like I can kind of be that. And so sometimes like when I used to date people or go on dates with people, not when I used to date people, I'm done dating. But like when certain people I would go on dates with, it would always be like, oh, like you're a lot you're a lot less like provocative in person than I would thought. And I'm like, what did you think I was gonna wear? Like titty tassels? Like we're going to Outback. Like it's not, you know. So it's kind of like interesting like how that works. And I've seen like a lot of other people like on Twitter and like Instagram and that kind of thing really try to like act out what I feel is like these like weird fake personas where they're trying to like clout chasers almost.
Yeah.
Where they're like trying to be funny all the time or like trying to like get 1,000 retweets and like all that stuff. And it's just kind of, I don't know. That's kind of like where I was going with it. I'll add in more, but that's kind of what I wanted to say right now. And then I'll chime in as y'all talk.
I guess I can go next. I think so. I mean, I definitely am. I definitely felt the need to be because I feel like I have to keep up a social media presence, especially now with the podcast. And so like in order to have a presence, you have to be producing something, whether it's a picture or a tweet. So sometimes I do have to take a break from Twitter more so than Instagram because I think I put like a lot of pressure on myself to be like funny or like to say something profound. And when I get to that point, I'm like, oh, no, I need to take a break. You know what I mean? Because then it's not really fun anymore. And I'm just kind of like doing it because I feel like I have to like reach something as opposed to when I'm just like tonight, I've just been tweeting and I've just been saying random shit that just came to me. And it's just like, I didn't put very much thought into it, but that's when it's the most fun. And like, as long as I'm not saying anything crazy, you know, it's better that way. I definitely, I'm not like super like, oh my God, here's me and my boyfriend. But I sometimes feel like I should be. And like, I feel like, oh my God, like every other picture should be of me and Mark because it's almost like the way that people view your relationship as not being valid if it's not like in their face all the time. Like if you're not posting pictures every other one, that's like, oh, what happened to you and your boyfriend? And it's like nothing. I just don't, that's not my identity. I just, you know,
Yeah.
I'm my own person. And so, you know, sometimes I'll post because I just really want to, but sometimes I'll post because I'm like, oh God, it's been a while. And like, you know, I don't want people to get the wrong idea. So let me post a picture of me and my boyfriend.
Why do you feel that is though? Like, is it because you feel like you need other people to be in the relationship, or is it because
I think, well, part of it, I think because I feel like there's this idea that like if you're not posting your partner, like then there's something wrong there. So I guess
you're not like proud of them or something.
Exactly, like I'm ashamed, or like I don't want him to be like in like on my Instagram or something, and I'm just like, no. You know, it's not anything to do with that. I just like don't like the vast majority of my pictures, period, are just of me by myself. But, you know, there's assumptions that come along with not doing it. And I'm intentionally not like in your face about it because I've spoken about this before. I don't want it's already like when we're in publishing circles, I'm already Mark's boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So like,
right.
I never want it to be a thing where like, outside of that, where it's just like Mark and Bays. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be like Bays.
Yeah.
Here's Mark is his boyfriend, but Bays.
Yeah.
And so, like, I already know that, like, in terms of the publishing industry, that's going to already be hard enough because I've been introduced to so many people already as Mark's boyfriend. And in terms of social media, that just seems like so scary to me to have my identity so attached to another person. And so I'm intentional about not doing it. I guess I'm intentionally not performative, but then there's still the occasional need to be performative and to be like, oh my God, like da. You know what I mean? So like the last time I posted a picture of us, like I tried to have fun with it. I was like, you know, like I think I posted something about us like being wolves or something and looking for a pup or something. But it's just I still.
But you're off the show.
You know what's funny is like since that episode I've noticed a lot more people that I interact with are into pup play, and I'm like oh yikes, maybe I should be maybe I should not be as like mean about that. But yeah, like I definitely feel that. Like it's funny. I was talking about this with a mutual friend, Renee, with the mutual friend that we have. That's out here in New York visiting right now. Shut up. And I was talking about like.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry, go.
Do y'all want to go?
Go. No, go.
Okay. Thank you. So as I was saying, I definitely go through phases like on social media, especially with like Instagram. Like I'll go through phases where I'm like, oh, I just want to post my body all the time, right? Like I'm like, I just want to be appreciated. And then I go through phases where I'm like, well, is my face just not enough? And then I'm like, well, bitch, I don't want you to appreciate me for my body. I want you to appreciate me for like the clothes that I'm wearing, or like for my face, my facial beauty or whatever. And so like I definitely like, I guess I can get performative in those regards because I mean, I'm obviously looking for validation, so I'll like post when I'm looking for validation for that specific thing. But I think a lot of it is that I just feel like this need to grow my platform because of this podcast. You know, I feel like this constant pressure to like be present all the time. And like, I haven't posted a picture in like 2 days. And that's like, I was like, oh my God, like I haven't posted a picture in 2 days. Like this is too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy how like it all gets to you. And then I never feel like I can really take a break from it because I have to promote the stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. That was a really long answer. I don't know if that really answered your question.
No, it did.
Well, no, it did it?
No.
No, because Renee was like, it did, but I was like, that was Rakeem who asked the question.
No, it did, and it actually made me kind of think of like a few other things, but I'm going to let John and Renee go first, and then we'll do like follow-ups and all that. So, whichever one of y'all want to go first.
The Visco Cam Gay can go first.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
The shade.
I mean,
I'm joking, Papa. I'm joking.
We love facts.
It's just the fact, I guess. I don't know. Facts are facts, America.
John, you could tell John is tired of being called.
He's like, can you come up with something else? Can you come up with something else?
Oh my God.
They call me The white man's whore.
Oh my god.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
Go, John. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'm just
John.
No,
I'm
it's
just
okay.
fucking with you.
Performing. I feel like I'm performing all the time. That's why when the question came up, I was like, well, specifically, I guess the way I interpreted it is, have you guys seen that movie Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and
Jennifer
Leonardo?
Garner?
No.
Yes.
So
I'm so
seen it.
disgusted by her.
So I don't know why, but I thought about this in relationship to my job, and I guess a lot of my feelings lately have been coming from work. But so Catch Me If You Can is this movie with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio plays this character who who's an imposter, who is basically he worked as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a pilot, and he basically he worked in all these different arenas because he mastered the art of oh my god.
Ooh, child.
Should I go while John's fixing her?
Can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry. I think that
Ghetto.
Ghetto. So wait, did we let the listeners know that we're all recording at home tonight?
Oh,
well,
no.
now
Sorry,
they
we're
know.
recording at home tonight because things. So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So my roommate is
Sorry.
cooking and a fire alarm went off. Wow. Anyway,
I love our show so much.
so he's basically a con artist, and sometimes I feel like that when I'm at work. Not that I didn't earn my degree, but I show up at work and it's performative because we have to wear a uniform, we have to wear a lab coat, we have to use certain words and say certain things and behave a certain way, and it's respectability politics and it's a lot of things happening all at once. And yeah, I feel like I'm performing. I feel like I'm performative because you're on stage and the people who are pulling the strings are my managers and the corporation I work for. You have to be and look a certain way and you have to say these things, and which is understandable and there's nothing wrong. Which is one of my points, is that sometimes performing isn't that bad if you have to do it, to earn $1. I get it. I guess this also brings me back to RuPaul, right? The way she's being pageant, she's performing because this is how you get by in certain ways. It's not being disingenuous, but it's being sort of your identity is a replica of what is formed by what people expect you to be in certain areas, right? So
Respectable.
yeah. And so even though it's a mixture of being performative and sort of me, because this is me, this is my version of what this is supposed to be. Right. So when I'm at work, I'm not exactly like my coworkers. I'll put our own little twist to it, but I feel like when I'm at work, my strings are definitely being pulled because there's a lot more at risk, because this is your job. So you have to be a certain way. But then
Right.
outside of work, there's different arenas. Sometimes when I'm another arena I think about is when I'm with my straight friends. And then,
Right.
when you're the token gay or queer, I kind of water myself down to be not as queer as if I'm with you guys or my other queer friends, I have to be the funny gay. Do you know what I mean? Because their version of what gay is sort of like Jonathan from Queer Eye. You have to be funny, you have to have quick whips. And
Your
kind of
entertainment.
your entertainment. And so sometimes I feel that pressure because if I'm not that person, then what is my value in this circle other than being the funny gay? And that's who they expect you to be. And sometimes, and I get really mad at myself. Sometimes as soon as I walk away from the circle, I take a big sigh and okay, now I can stop being this person. But
Oh, John.
but sometimes I feel you have to be a certain way depending on the situation. Another example I was thinking of, you guys say a lot that I'm a social butterfly, when we go out in public. And yeah, I am, and I'm low key sort of like, what is it called? Extroverted introvert. Like, I do like being, I like quiet time. I like being by myself, but at the same time, if I'm in public, I have to behave like I'm in public. Like, I have to have a smile on my face. I have to get people to like me, because if I'm not, then what am I doing out in public? Then, like, being miserable. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when I'm out in public, I have to be friendly, or else what is going to happen to me in that situation? And, you know, I'd rather perform and be this person than be negative and face the consequences of being that negative person. And not that I am, like, my genuine self is a negative person, but my genuine self sometimes doesn't feel like telling jokes or behaving a certain way. But if I don't do that, if I don't behave that way, then people are going to think something is wrong with me. Do you know? They're going to be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? You're not feeling okay? Or
you're just not as, like, fun to be around.
Exactly. And, like, they're going to think, oh, something is wrong with them. And it's not that. It's just like, you know, I don't feel like being that person. So when it comes to work, or depending if I'm out in a social environment, yeah, like, I feel like we're all performing in a certain way. And yeah, that's my version.
And like masculinity is one too, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah.
That meme that you posted, John.
Wait, what?
That meme that you posted.
Oh, the baby lifting weights? Yeah.
Yeah, and then screaming afterwards. What did you say in that meme?
It's me and my performative masculinity and instantly hating it.
Yeah, so cute. Performance.
Floor performance, hand performance.
So,
Sorry, keep going.
I feel like I'm trying to be more performative. Specifically, with social media. Just because I feel like sometimes I feel like that grumpy old person that, like, doesn't understand anything that, like, the young folks are into or whatever. Do you know, like, sometimes I'm like that annoying person. But I also feel like I like look at, like, some of, like, my favorite artists who, like, kind of went off the deep end, and as far as, like, isolating themselves, and a lot of it was because they didn't understand, like, the current culture, and then weren't just like, fuck it, like, I'm not gonna fuck with this, and I'm like, so I'm done. And then they just kind of disappear and, like, isolate themselves. And I'm always, it is a very real fear for me that, like, because I don't understand all these things, that, like, that'll happen to me. And so I, like, try to partake in all these things, more often, just because I'm just like, I don't want to end up, like, being that person that, like, has a tinfoil hat in, like, their house and, like, doesn't talk to anybody except for their dog. That I didn't mean to, like, shade Fiona Apple, but that's Fiona Apple.
Oh my god.
No, I love her so much. No, literally, she's, like, the funniest person ever. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like I want to be a part of the whole thing, but then also it scares me because I have also seen how it, like, will fuck people up. Specifically, and I'm sure everyone's sick of me here, like, talking about this, but, like, specifically, like, I've seen how, like, these picture perfect, like, lives that people want to, like, represent on social media, I found out many times, like, are not so, and so it's a little scary for me, like, how I've literally heard people say, like, oh, I was really in love with this person, and I'd just be like, why? Like, what is it about this person? They're like, we had the same aesthetic, or we had the same taste in things, or like that, and like
what?
And like, yes, I
that's
literally
real.
heard that.
That is very real.
And it's like, and that's all that's drawing you to it together, whether you're both horrible people or like one person's toxic or whatever. Like, it'll draw two people together and like who are very much not fit to be together, or that are not part of a healthy relationship, but because you're putting out this like image of performing a successful relationship, you want to stick together. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you romanticize this person because it's just like, oh, but like we were so perfect. And it's like, no, you were not. You were picture perfect. And that's it. So it's like, for me, it's scary. It like, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't make it clear who I'm speaking about, but like, is someone at some point in time, was dating someone, and I think a big part of the reason why they started dating this person was because of their Instaclout. And I had
Instaclout?
And I
Yes.
had heard
Yeah, that's real.
and I had heard from a lot of people, and I had figured on my own too that this person was an absolute terrible person. And the person A who wanted to date the Instaclout person wouldn't listen to me when I was like, listen, this person is like a trash person. You do not want to date them. And a couple years down the line, that person found out the hard way that like, oh shit, like the entire relationship, like that person ended up being a trash person. And so like, yeah, I want to partake in these things. I don't want to be that annoying person. Like, I'm so annoying. Like, I really annoy myself in like how like judgy and like holier than thou I get about like social media stuff, because I'm just like, just fucking partake in it. It's not that serious. But then also on the other side of that token, like I like get scared because I'm just like, what if I get really sucked into this thing? Because a big part of why I don't want to partake in it is because I feel like, I don't know how to explain this specifically, but I feel like even though like I know deep down like this is all bullshit, like I feel like once I start partaking in it, like I will start feeding into it and start feeling it and like feel the repercussions, and then start like being like, okay, I need to post. Okay, I need to do this. Okay, like
It's Mean Girls.
Exactly. Like when Katie Heron like starts to like be like pretend like she's part of them, but then she actually becomes plastic. Like that also scares me too. So like I'm trying to be in the between where I'm not like just like the outsider freak all the time, but I'm also like not like completely sucked in where I'm just like, this thing matters so much to me that I'm like, that it's dictating my relationships or my life decisions. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think, and sometimes I even think like, okay, I'm not performative, obviously, for the most part, romantically on there, right? For the most part. But then I think to myself like, okay, am I being performative in other ways? Like, is me like constantly like posting videos about me and my friends? Is that me being like, oh, like everyone look at like how good my friends are? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is that performative?
But
That is, but I don't mind that. Why not?
But right, but it's still like, I still like always want to kind of get to the root of just like, okay, like what am I doing and why am I doing this? And like, just because I never want to get sucked in, if that makes sense. But it's also hard. It's just hard. It's hard not to get sucked into a thing that you're a part of. I was just thinking like today I was in class and we were talking about people that partake in capitalism and like how it's hard to not partake when you're like, when you live under the system. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, and it's almost like kind of like, I want to say like throwing, like someone saying like, I don't know, I was going to say something weird, like throwing somebody in like a den of lions and then actually that doesn't make sense. Here, I'll think about that in a second. But basically like my whole thing is just like, I want to partake so I'm not like super annoying and weird, but I also am scared I'm going to get sucked in. That's it.
One thing I wanted to ask y'all too was like, are there certain actions that are performative that annoy you? And then like, what are those? Like what I just did. So like, are there certain things that people do like on social media or just in real life that you find performative and like really annoying? Or
I was actually just exploring this today because I don't know, like I don't know if I'm being a hater bitch, but one thing I've been noticing and I've been seeing a lot of is people going to protests and like coming up with like really funny like clever signs. And I kind of like, I was just watching it and there's this one that's really going around and it was like, it's like the joke on you look like Linda Evangelista.
Right.
Yeah, I was
And
thinking
I've
the
seen
same
it.
thing.
Asha.
Yeah, and I've seen it like a million times, and it irked me, and it felt very like it feels like a party, like, you know what I mean, like a block party or something. And I was like gonna tweet about it, but then I was like, am I being fake woke? Like, am I being a bitch?
No.
And I thought maybe like, because I really do hate when people. I mean, I've talked about this, but this example just always cracks me up. Is this guy on Tumblr who saw these two lights? I don't want to say light skin, but they were not very dark skinned Latinx boys, and they were like in a dark room, and they were using like blue lights, and they took a picture in like the dark room with the blue lights, and he like went off on this tangent. He liked one of my pictures on Twitter recently, by the way, but anyway, that's beside the point. And he went on this tangent about like non-black men trying to pretend like they're black because they took a picture in a dark room. And it was just really weird. But it's like, and I brought up this example because it still to this day cracks me up because it's just so performative. I really hate when I feel like people are not talking about things because they actually care about them. When I feel like they're talking about them because it's just like the thing to do. And so today I was like, am I just annoyed? Am I jealous? Like, am I just being a hater? Or is this a real thing? Is this a real problem?
Right.
And I didn't know. So I like deleted the tweet because I was like, maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but I don't know. I've just been going back and forth about that. So that's something that really does bother me, is when people are just like to like excessively, like they're just so woke. They just are woker than anything that's ever existed, and they need to let you know about it.
Hi.
Well, you do live in the Bay Area, girl.
I'm actually surprised y'all were talking in class about dismantling capitalism, because like that would never happen at UCLA, like ever.
Oh, it's really, but I mean, it's specific. It's a very specific like department, so I feel like it's gonna be something. But yeah, but basically, like kind of like the example that I wanted to use is like, let's say like. There's a bunch of land, right? And then whoever's in power forces a bunch of people to jump into the water and like swim all day. And then I say something like I hate having to swim like throughout the whole day just to stay above water. Like, there's enough land. Why can't we stay on land? And then somebody points at me and is like, but you're swimming. So if you hate swimming so much, why are you doing it? And it's just like, but that's what you have to do to like survive under capitalism. A, and B, like that's, and partly to be like not popular, but like, a social gay person, it almost feels like you have to have an Instagram or else you don't exist. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to kind of like play the game. Otherwise, it's just like, who are you? And just the way that Baze was saying, like, you know, if I don't post pictures of me and my partner, like, are we together? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do people really count that as a legitimate relationship if I don't post pictures of me and my partner? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it's almost like this thing where like, we have to exist in this thing in order to exist in, period.
That's why it's so weird to me, because like I just like, that's why I partially asked the question, because like I just don't care, and like and that's not to say like I'm above all of it or whatever, because I am affected by it, but it's like especially like with the relationship thing, because the thing that I don't want to say annoys me but piques my interest is like when I see people like when people are in couples specifically like do these like pose things that to me, and like I've seen it happen in person, and it just looks really like weird to me. And I've never understood like why like the obsession with it, like I don't understand like the obsession with clout right now, like also
I mean, I understand it.
I completely understand it.
I don't well that's what I'm at base. I've never heard that word before you said it on the show before, and now it's like it's everywhere, but it's like I've never got it, and by that I mean like I don't, tell me if this comes off as weird, but like I get it for someone who has like a product or a service or like a talent or something that they want to like promote, but I don't get it from people like who just like sit to like think of these tweets like 24/7 to get like 100,000 reblogs, because I'm like, what does that do for you? Like, so
I was just gonna say, I mean, if I can reference that really bad article that went around found like those 4 or 5 insta-gays. Kyle Krieger mentioned that he said that he felt like it was like a high for him, and it replaced the high that he said he used to get high off of meth, and now he gets high off of likes.
Well, apparently, like, I don't know how accurate this is, but I've seen like several articles saying that it like gives you like a chemical boost. Like, yeah, exactly. A chemical release, like you getting a bunch of likes, like gives you like this chemical thing where just becomes addicting, and it becomes this thing where just like, okay, I need to post. You know what I'm saying? And like, again, I don't want it to be that, but I also don't want to be like, there's a bunch of like pretend articles online that's like, I unplugged from Instagram and now I'm I'm better than everybody, and this is why I'm so much better. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I also don't want to be that person. So shut up.
No. No. I'm not laughing at you. I'll tell you guys after we log off.
Okay. Because sometimes I feel like I'm that person, and I'm just like, I don't like that person. Like, that person's annoying. That person, I wouldn't want to talk to that person. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just like, but yeah, like that scares me. Like the fact that like X amount of people like liking a photo is gonna like give you like that boost, and that's what makes you feel good. Like that day, like that, like terrifies me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, do y'all have anything you want to add? Because I think we're kind of at like 35, so I don't know if you want to keep going or not. But
I was going to say performing or whatever we want to call this is okay if you are aware that you're doing it, and if you have a goal as to why you're doing it, and not to do it for, I guess, the wrong reasons, you know?
Right.
If you're doing it to get to a certain place, to achieve a certain goal, that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. We all do that in a certain way, whether it comes to jobs or whatever. But if
we're performing anyway, like outside of social media.
Exactly. But if you're performing for something, I don't know, that's not worthwhile, that's not going to benefit you, and that's going to somehow hurt someone else, or maybe even yourself, then maybe it's not, reconsider.
Agreed.
Yeah. This is actually like a way longer conversation than I thought it was going
As it always is, girl.
So, yeah, we can maybe talk about it a little bit, because there's like a ton of stuff we didn't even...
Yeah.
But yeah,
I definitely wanted to touch on when John was talking about performing around men. I was like thinking about like all the times I've been in situations around white people, and like I just disappear if I don't perform for them, if I'm not the funny black guy.
Or me at the barbershop, like how all of
Yes.
super mass, and like, oh my god, I love pussy. Yes. Pussy is the best.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, it could be.
It probably is. It probably is. It's just like, you kind of have to have a certain kind of demeanor to have respect in like certain areas.
For sure.
Yeah.
And not be a target.
When I thought of it, I was definitely thinking of like Insta-gays at the time, because I was at the gym when I was thinking about it. But now that I'm thinking about it, like, you perform and like sometimes being performative is like a tool you use to survive. Like, a lot of people like perform being cisgender. Like, a lot of people perform like what they think is blackness. Like, a lot of people perform, like, I used to do that when I was in school and used to dye my hair.
Girl, that's something that annoys me. People performing blackness, hearing people talk like they do on Twitter in real life, white people, non-black people, that gets on my motherfucking
like when
nerves.
white people say ghetto.
No, somebody said that somebody tweeted, they were like, I heard a white person say, ooh, child, the ghetto in real life, and they pronounced it, ooh, Chile, the ghetto.
No, stop it.
Chile. Oh, Chile.
And this is why
Chileans are shook.
Oh,
and this is why that's not actually called Stan language. It's actually black language. It's co-opted by Stan Twitter. But anyway, that's neither here nor here.
Oh man,
you know what? This is gonna be our own personal meme. Ooh, Chile.
There's a video of a guy saying it's Chile, and she's like, no, it's child, and he's like, well, where's the D? I was like,
oh my god, yes.
Oh my god.
Ooh, Chile, the ghetto, the ghetto. All right, well, we'll be back with Male of Color.
Male of Color. All right.
All right, y'all. We back. And we're reading Mail of Color. So, from an Alabama hee-haw hunting training, we have... So I've been dating this person for almost 4 months now, and we've worked out... and what we've worked out is this non-exclusive situationship. And it's been fine until now.
Let them finish.
Sorry.
Are we just going to copy the read and just say break up with him?
I was about to say, leave him, sis. No.
Nope. So I'm just seeking some guidance on what to do or just to hear how y'all would handle this situation. So here it goes. I'm a 24-year-old black genderqueer Gemini. Yes, come on, Gemini. And the person I'm involved with is a 27-year-old black non-binary Scorpio.
Oh my God.
I really love the like signs. Do Scorpios and Geminis mix?
Those are both
Scorpios. You're a Gemini, right? Ones. And your partner's a Scorpio.
Mark says he's a Libra cusp, though, so I don't know if he really counts as.
Mark is an exception.
Oh, that makes yeah, because air signs are not supposed to mix with water signs.
Ooh.
But if you're on a cusp, and depending on your chart, if you have some air in there, then maybe it'll work out.
Okay.
If you have some air in there.
So for the sake of privacy, we're going to refer to them as Robin. Call your girlfriend. All right. Robin and I started dating back in April, and it hit it off very quickly. After just a week of dating and constantly seeing each other, we decided to be friends with benefits. 2 weeks after that, we felt that our connection was much more intimate than that and decided to date seriously, but not exclusively. When we first started dating, Robin was seriously dating 4 people. Whew. Jeez, I'm sorry. I just don't have the attention span, but that's just me.
The goals.
Including you. Okay, so it wasn't 4 other people. How they manage that is beyond me. Girl, me too. Keeping up with one person is hard enough. Okay, listen, we on the same wavelength. The only person I've been dating seriously is Robin, but their multiple partners never really upset me because we've decided not to be exclusive. And we both felt that being in a relationship wasn't something that we wanted at the time due to me wanting to focus on my career and them getting ready to move to another city at the end of this summer. Over the last 3 months, Robin has stopped dating their other partners and is now only seriously dating me. However, because we're non-exclusive, we are both free to hook up as see fit. My past couple of hookups have been severely disappointing because of me not being sexually compatible with other people or me just thinking about Robin during the hookup.
Oh, run.
I'm just thinking of that video, Run, and it's like Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. Oh. And what's her name? Keira Knightley just running down the stairs.
Keira Knightley, and she's like running. Yeah. I'm starting to realize that hooking up is harder to do when I'm so emotionally invested in someone. Robin, on the other hand, has no problem enjoying their hookups. And when they tell me about... Huh?
Sorry, I'm being bitter. Keep going.
Oh, and when they tell me about hooking up, I easily feign excitement for them, but I'm really burning with fury on the inside. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I kind of felt like this is where this was going. We usually tell each other about our hookups just to keep the communication open, honest, and so that we can ensure safety on both ends. So my question is, what would y'all do at this point? I'm confused because I can see myself in a relationship with Robin, but they're moving away to Washington, D.C. in 10 weeks. Oh, God. So many caveats. We both currently live in Boston, which isn't terribly far, but I know that long-distance relationships aren't ideal for me. I could break up with them, but I would miss the emotional intimacy, which is all we have right now, to be honest, because we haven't had sex in weeks. Ooh. And I just told them that I loved them last week. I'm not in love with them, but I do love them and appreciate having them in my life, and Robin has shared the same sentiments with me. Our relationship has definitely grown to something more serious, but I have no vision as to where it is going now. So I feel like I've been off more than I can chew. This is the first situationship I've been engaged in, and I'm just lost, confused, and looking for some guidance.
I feel like I wrote this letter from 2014. Run. Like, don't do it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Break it off now. If you say you're not in love with the dude and he's going to be leaving in 10 weeks, I guarantee you when that time comes up, you are going to be devastated. Leave now. It's going to suck, but in the long run, I guarantee you it will be so much better. Believe me when I tell you this, you do not know how accurate the situation is to something I have been in. Don't do it. It's not going to be fun for you, for him, for Robin, for anyone. I would just say, look, I can't, especially with the whole, they're telling you they hook up and you have to be happy about it. I've been rejected by people, and then like we remain friends, and then like they tell me who we hook up with, and I'm just like, why are you telling me this? Like, we're not so don't do it, girl.
I feel like they're kind of establishing each other as kind of some type of part, like they're like an official type of partnership, even if they're not like maybe primary partners, right?
Yeah, but it sounds like that person wants to be primary partners,
right?
And like they're not going to get that, and they're not going to be satisfied with like what you're saying.
But,
like, what I'm hearing is,
the thing is, I feel like they're not going to get that, but only because they're going to move away. But a lot of like primary partners will like are open and will like hook up with other people and are open about the communication with like their hookups. And the thing is, maybe because I don't know if this person is unhappy with the hookups just because their own hookups aren't going well, or just they're unhappy about the hookups because they don't want it to be open. And maybe they should really dig into like what's going on there. Like, because if your own hookups were going well, would you still be furious about them hooking up, or would you be like, okay, like mine are going well and yours are going well, so this is like it's fine? Because a lot of people can operate that way. Like, you can operate like we're both enjoying our other hookups and we're excited for each other. So maybe that's what you want to dig into. Like, is it because you don't want to be open, or is it because your own hookups aren't going the way that you want them to?
To me, it sounds like you want to be with this person primarily, and like based off of what you're saying, based off of what they're saying, and not a monogamous thing, but a somewhat monogamous thing or whatever, and you're looking for like some kind of reason to like stay in it when all the signs say that like this is going to be like really terrible for you. And and like, you know what I mean? Like, you can sit there and like build and have those conversations, but like 10 weeks is 2.5 months. Like, that's summer. So it's like, if a long distance thing is something you're really interested in, then sure. But I feel like it's going to be just worse on you the more you get invested in this situation, like especially because you're saying you like the physical intimacy. They're moving away is not going to really help that.
I agree. I think you're young. Like, I think you'll have more opportunities to be in love or to have any kind of relationship that you want. I think it's probably like for the best to maybe end things. That
one's also hard. It
just sounds like you're...
Sorry, go ahead. Go.
It just feels like you're like... It feels like Rakeem said, like you're investing in the relationship and you kind of want it to be more than what it is right now. And I mean, also maybe just have that conversation with them. Like, I think like the most important thing that I can say for my relationship is like communication, and like nothing, no detail is too small to have a conversation about. So like, if you feel like potentially this is somebody that you want to be with in a different way, just have that, like, broach the subject with them. I said break up in terms of like, if you've already had this conversation and you guys have decided that you guys want different things out of the relationship. But definitely have the conversation first, because you can never really know what they're willing to do to be with you. Maybe they feel the same way. Maybe they are not as fulfilled by their hookups as they say they are. You just never know. Yeah.
As the resident non-committal person, I'm going to have the most unpopular opinion, but I say just go with it. Okay, so a long-distance relationship is not ideal, but I don't think the ultimatum is to cut the person off. I wouldn't say run. I would definitely just like ride it out. And you never know what could happen. I think with relationships, or even situationships, whatever you want to call it, I always find that for me the risk is always worth it. And that's sort of in a hopeless romantic but at the same time non-committal philosophy. Because even with a little hurt, I think even with a lot of hurt, I never regret the opportunities I've taken. And I think even
that's a good way to look at them.
Yeah, and even the people.
Not everyone does though. No, sorry.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Unpopular opinion. That's me. Like, I don't know. I always would rather face it than rather think than what if.
Right.
So if you just walk out of this, I think you're going to regret it just as much as if you were to even get a little hurt. And who knows? Maybe it's not even hurt is the outcome. What if you just both enjoy the time you have left?
True.
And like, just enjoy it. And then like, if who knows, if that person moves away, like it doesn't have to be a long distance relationship. It could just be like, hey, that's my long distance fuck buddy. You know, and like every time either one of us are in town, like we'll just pick up where we left off. And I think a lot of us, or not a lot of us, but some people have that situation, and like you don't want to burn any bridges is all I'm saying. It's like if you ever pick up where you left off, you're gonna be more happy with that than like cutting someone completely out. So,
the flame is worth the
burn. Different perspective. Yeah. So we wish you the best of luck.
You're basically like, I don't know, girl.
Yeah. Please contact us. Contact us in 10.5 weeks. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let us know what happened. Yeah, definitely give us an update on that. I'm going to read one more and then we will dip.
Go. Okay.
So just a fair warning. This person does talk about, sexual harassment.
Okay.
So they said, "Hey, trashbags, I wanted to say your show is great and love tuning in each week to hear y'all's experiences and know I'm not alone. One thing I've been trying to navigate is how I'm consumed in public gay spaces. I live in the neoliberal hellscape that is Seattle. The city is seemingly progressive but overwhelmingly white and very much a tech city. Imagine that crowd in gay spaces. Well, I imagine Renee doesn't have to imagine.
Yeah, I was like, that's San Francisco.
Up until recently, I really struggled to feel confident in how I looked, so I've begun making efforts to feel comfortable when I dress cute. I used to just wear pants and a basic shirt, but after being harassed for being seemingly straight by a bunch of white gays in tank tops, I decided to make more of an effort in looking the part. Oh,
ew.
Look, this is in theme with our performative discussion.
Yep.
I think a lot of the reasons I would dress more conservatively is to also avoid being sexualized in a way that I wasn't ready for, which brings me to the next thing. The past few times I've gone out, I've had white gay men just grab at me. Several times I've had my dick grabbed. One of those times was under my pants and briefs, and I've lost track of the amount of times I've had my ass slapped or my chest felt up. I don't even use urinals at the bars because I've had these white boys try and pull my pants down. I just feel like like either way I dress, I'm not comfortable. It's either be berated for not being gay enough or just being sexually harassed. I can't just exist. It's so jarring to have a space claimed to be for gay people, but it's one of the places I feel the most unsafe and under a microscope. Up here, there's really no set space for queer people of color, and even seeing them out and about doesn't exclude them from the Seattle Freeze narrative. I don't know what that means. Do you guys know what the Seattle Freeze thing is?
No,
I don't.
Okay,
I know Seattle's really bad as far as POC is concerned, though. Like really bad.
There's a Latin night, but it's mostly for old white daddies to come and fetishize and gawk at brown and black people. I've wondered how y'all deal or how to make a space for myself and others going through the same thing, especially with the current social climate. I almost never have the energy to fight for myself anymore because I'm just so angry and exhausted about everything else. I hope y'all are having good weeks. The four of you are shining lights for a lot of people that need the energy, and I've never been so inspired to do and be better on both personal and creative levels than I have by
thank
y'all. Signed, sick of the bullshit in Seattle. Thank you so much. Sick of this bullshit in Seattle. It's funny because I was actually just ranting about this on Twitter, performatively. No. The Terry Crews thing kind of brought up a lot of stuff for me because, I actually initially had it in the topics, but, we just didn't have enough time for it. Terry Crews, was sexually assaulted by, a producer, I believe, executive producer. And he's been his response to that has been policed heavily, and a lot of it is by men and black men, especially 50 Cent is one of the more famous people to be doing it. And it really brought a lot of out a lot of people well, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? And at the Ladyland festival on 2 Fridays ago. Last Friday? I don't remember. 2 Fridays ago. You know, I was walking through the crowd with my friends, and before I even knew what was going on, like somebody had grabbed me by my neck and like pulled me into like a hug and was like roping me everywhere. And I was like, I was just so disoriented because I didn't know what was going on. And somebody was just like pawing at me, and I like looked up, and it was like this like white muscle bear-ish guy, and he had like this young black guy with him, and he would not let me go until the black guy like got him to like let me go. And it was like I like had to find my friends again, and I kind of just like laughed it off and moved on. But that was like the common theme for me in gay spaces, especially heavily white spaces, is having like white men like touching me and putting their hands on me, groping me, pulling at me. And so I really, honestly, I'm still searching for that answer. But I guess like one thing is, that could be a potential answer is something Rakim suggested is spaces that don't revolve around drinking or like being at a club. But I don't know what that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this individual person can do about that.
Yeah,
But,
I
yeah.
kind of agree, but it's gonna happen anywhere. Like I've mentioned on the show before several times that like an older white man has like come up to me and stuck his tongue down my throat, and like at Pride, like, you know, stuff people are, and I was gonna say obviously, and that's like sad because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is like there really is like nothing you can do. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't control the actions of someone else, and I don't want to tell you like to like change your behavior in terms of like how other like to make other people stop doing it. Honestly, like I'll punch him in the face. Like don't touch me. Like
I guess, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't really know what to say because it's hard. Like you can go to places where it's not alcohol and stuff like that, and people will still do it. Like gay gamers are still very capable of groping you and touching you.
That is true.
And
You're
being
right.
inappropriate. Like it's not just like, you know, people in club bar type spaces. It happens like everywhere. So I don't know, girl. Like pepper spray.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was speaking based off of my experience, and most of my experiences has been in that space. But
Yeah, of course.
No. But like you're right. You're totally right. It could happen literally anywhere at any time, and there's not really anything you can do about that.
Only thing I could say maybe is like if you go with a group of people, it might encourage people to do it less. But other than that, like I don't really know. Like
that's what I was curious to know too. Is this person by themselves or the group of friends? I mean, not that it's right either way, but maybe that would help deflect some of the wrong intention.
What I would say too maybe is if you're like if you're feeling unsafe in these spaces, I mean, yeah, this is definitely on them. This is nothing on you. But I would maybe also consider what some of my friends are doing out here, are just finding other people of color and then just doing stuff like hosting like watch parties for something at like just at their own homes, so that you can still socialize with other people of color. You can still have like, you know, a good time, but it's still like it's not under, it's not really going to be dictated by the white gays around you. So yeah, maybe something like that, I would say.
all right.
So
good luck and let us know. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I guess,
and if anybody has any like resources for like spaces for people of color or anything, like I don't know if any of you guys can think of anything, feel free. Yes, exactly, in Seattle. If any of you can think of anything, feel free to reach out to us and we can like parlay that.
yeah.
all right, so that's gonna wrap up this longer episode of POC. Again, you guys can find us on iTunes at POC, and like and subscribe on iTunes. Leave us comments. Our Twitter is Trash of Color. Everything else is at Podcast of Color. And I have like a few people to thank this week. I want to make it really quick because it's like 4, because I was out for a week. So I wanted to say first thank you to the Caselli Art Space and Sagi and Brenda for inviting me to be in the diversity art show at that space. The Embracing Diversity art show at that space. The show is actually up for another week, so it'll be up till this Sunday. And 50% of the proceeds go to Equality California, which is pretty much helping like with LGBTQ rights and whatnot, in the state of California, which is really nice. I also wanted to say, thank you to Pride.com because I got to shoot Gigi Gorgeous for them for Pride Month. And that was really fun. Also, I said really, really, really long time ago that I worked with a clothing company named One Self brand. And they do like gender neutral, clothing that has t-shirts that say like no racists, no assholes on them and, things like that. And their website just launched. So I'll put their website in the link. And then also I want to say thank you to Big Dipper again. I got to shoot him for Wussy Mag, who's also featured us before, so thank you for that. And then lastly, I wanted to say for all of us, thank you to the Fight Magazine for featuring the podcast.
Yay!
In the latest issue, in the LA and the Bay. You can check that out. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what that looks like in print. And yeah.
Also, I might not be around for a couple of episodes because my school schedule is interfering with our recording schedule, unfortunately. But I'm gonna create a Twitter so y'all can interact with me if y'all would like.
And we'll put Renee's Twitter handle in the
Also, shout out to Mexico in the World Cup and RIP Mexico. My friend.
Oh wait, are they out?
They're out. Yeah, my friend posted this thing and was like, there was like grown Mexican men crying, and it was like now they know how it feels like when Valentina got eliminated.
Oh my god,
it was so funny.
I was wondering because the news was playing like footage at the gym today of like men like crying for like 20 minutes straight, and I was like, what is happening?
My tios, all my tios, just bawling, just absolutely bawling.
Like I live in a primarily Mexican like neighborhood too, so like. Just like the atmosphere was different. I was like, what? Like, because like when Mexico has been winning, like there have been like the flags on cars everywhere. And then I went outside today and it was just like somber. And I was like, what is happening?
No, Mexico. Yeah. Last week, Mexico was like so for Korea because Korea kept us in the game. So everybody like was in love with Koreans for the day, which is problematic. But anyways, yes, that's our episode.
All right. So we will see y'all next week.
No whimper.
Renee. Bye.
This podcast is executively produced by Aaliyah J. Daniels, LaShawn McGee, Damian Pelliccioni, Christopher Rodriguez, John Kagandahan, Keem Cunningham, Baze White, and Renee Hernandez.